This conference will now be recorded.
So, hi everyone, welcome to our day one of the Grafana Foundation Enabler program. This session will be recorded and it will be shared with the people who have um, shared their IDs, and they can view it anytime. So, just as part of the sanity check, let me quickly verify my internet speed. And before that, I'd like to uh, get a quick confirmation if everyone can hear me loud and clear. Speed looks good. We have. Can someone quickly give me confirmation if they can hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear.
Great. And I believe even screen should be visible. It should be. Welcome to Grafana slide.
Yes.
Great. Okay. So first of all, today we're gonna get started with understanding Grafana, and then we'll move with creating AWS based instances to do a Dockerized Grafana installation. Okay, so to get started, what's in agenda for today? I'll prefer more to talk rather than to follow certain slides, and because of which there might be limited content when we'll see the slide, but we're gonna have more broader discussion and uh, broader input onto the topics. So don't feel or don't find it that okay they're limited content, is it something we're gonna cover only. So yeah, I hope that makes sense and everyone good with that. Okay, so let's get started. What's Grafana? So we all know Grafana is an open source monitoring solution. When I say monitoring, that's a broader term. So Grafana is actually a visualization solution. And if we see the market, right, if we'll try to put a zoom onto the market in terms of what are all different options we do have for visualization, just for visualization or a specialized visualization, it's hardly a few solution available. And that's where Grafana put itself onto a very strong side. and because of which the limited number of competitors within the visualization layer, uh, it's been very popular and it's been even demanding. Many renowned organizations are utilizing Grafana open source capability for their infrastructure monitoring, for their application monitoring, and for a newer age paradigm called observability. So some of them, we know, Intel, PayPal, even Apple is utilizing Grafana capability to, do its infrastructure monitoring as well as uh, application performance management. What it does offer, it offers definitely a very uh, advanced level visualization for whatever backend it's being integrated with. We're gonna like talk more on the backend side as we progress with the slides. And some of the limitation which we will be again gonna like see as we progress. One of the limitation we found with Grafana open source. Okay, before we talk about like open source, let's understand what are all different offering Grafana provides in terms of deploying, or in terms of like product. So Grafana is a CNCF product, we can say, uh, and that being reason, it's one of the very highly accepted open source technology. And what are all different forms it does come up this product. One is your Grafana Enterprise. So Grafana Enterprise is enterprise based solution which being backed by Grafana Labs. So Grafana Labs is originally which managed Grafana, and uh, when we say like Grafana Enterprise, it's a paid solution, and it does come up with like Grafana support. So if anything wrong happen with the performance of Grafana, a support case can be open, and Grafana team, Grafana engineers will gonna like support on that particular bug or any additional requirement if organization has, and if they have opted for Grafana Enterprise, they can take help of Grafana support. Next one is Grafana OSS, that is open source, and it's been backed and supported by the community. There is no SLA, but the community is very strong. Grafana offers a very strong community since it's been backed by CNCF, which is a worldwide famous open source consortium, and there is absolute great, you can say, contributors who are available to support, but there is no enterprise level or there is no support SLA available when we talk about OSS. And there will be one more, uh, I say like limitation, that is with regards to vulnerability management. Again, one needs to be dependent with the community support only when they will choose Grafana OSS version. In terms of features, most of the features will gonna be available with the open source as well. There are like few of the features which are uh, extended onto the enterprise end, and some sort of like integration which covers integration plugins. Those are limited to Grafana Enterprise or paid solution of Grafana. Third is the SaaS solution of Grafana, that is Grafana. We know like it's been known with the name Grafana Labs. So it's a SaaS solution. It's a totally managed solution by Grafana. The data responsibility will be with the organization, and remaining the infrastructural and the backend control of Grafana will be taken care by Grafana team. So these are the three different modes of Grafana product which can be provided to any organization. Again, it will be subject to requirement if someone is looking forward to. So when to choose what, uh, that again is a matter of debate and a matter of what sort of requirement. So on broader, we can have a discussion on that. So let's suppose if our organization is looking forward to evaluate and do some sort of testing and initial even development and tracking work, they generally prefer to have OSS version of Grafana. Even most of the organization generally we see which are like PayPal, even Intel, uh, they on to the initial level prefer to have OSS version. Okay. Next, when it comes to a fintech and some sort of organization where there is a governance based requirement and data needs to be restricted in terms of some security measures, as well as there are certain uh, government based rule which needs to be followed while having monitoring setup for the organizational wide infrastructure. Then in that case one should prefer to go with Grafana Enterprise or Grafana SaaS solution. Again, if it's really critical infrastructure and the data should required to be restricted within the organization and within their data center, generally in that case organization prefer to move with the Grafana Enterprise subject to deployment onto their internal data center. So I'll take a pause to see if anyone have any question. Okay. Next, what it does as a feature, it's alert management. So with the version we'll gonna follow would be 9.0 or plus for our training sessions. And currently the one which is getting utilized in most of the organization is either 9 or 10. uh, Recently there is a talk with regards to introducing Grafana 11, and our team is working. There is no much difference being created when it comes to Grafana 9 or even the latest version, if we'll say 10.4 or uh, later than that if we have any. So the only the visual layers, the UI parts, there is slight movement from here to there. Other than that, most of the features which been introduced to Grafana 9 version, those are remain absolute similar. So I'll just take another pause to hear if um, I believe couple of us are utilizing Grafana open source solution within their organization. So what are all different version they are using? Can uh, they can ping either utilizing chat or even if they want they can speak up. No one using Grafana. I mean, let's make this session more interactive. I believe this is how we're gonna learn and maximize the takeaway. And now we have already officially started. So let's try to have more interactive session so that even it will push me to go on to the greater extent of delivering, and these discussion will gonna bring definitely more, as what I said, to maximize our takeaway.
In my organization, they are using something neurotic, something like that.
Sorry, Siva, we lost you in
Hmm.
between. You mentioned something.
Yeah, in my organization, previously they are using Grafana. Then after that they moved to Neurotech. Now they are again they want to move to Grafana. But I didn't remember exact question they used.
Okay, not an issue. Um, Satya, would you like to add in like what Grafana you are using?
Yes, actually, our organization are using Grafana because we are in an initial stage of development. So we are yet to integrate with because we already integrated with Jmeter, but we're not integrated completely. So we are yet to do deep analysis on it.
Okay, okay. So so through these like session, as I mentioned, we're gonna like utilize or see the demonstration using Grafana 9.2 version, or we'll put 9.3, which is one of the stable version in the major 9 release. So now this is something we discussed yesterday also, that how Grafana functions. So Grafana is a visualization layer. It doesn't offers like the immediate capability. When I say like immediate, it means it alone is not self-capable of pulling in any sort of like monitoring related metrics or scrap any of information from a system or source. So for that, it does depend on a backend. And through our sessions, we're gonna like have a Prometheus as one of the major, or we can say like primary backend, which will help Grafana to gather the metrics from different sources, and we'll be utilizing this as a backend of Grafana. So
Um,
we'll be,
I-
yeah,
yeah, sorry to interrupt, Vaibhav here. So I have one question. Uh, do
yes,
we have any plan of integrating Grafana with Telegraph as well as the source to be InfluxDB? I mean, because in our organization we have that kind of arrangement. So uh,
yeah,
would that be
InfluxDB we
possible?
have, yeah,
Okay.
InfluxDB we have a plan to keep that within our session. Uh, Telegraph yet not, but we'll
So
see again. That will be subject to at what extent. Um, and at what early time we'll be completing, or at least like uh, finalize primary targets. So once we'll finish up those, and once we'll build confidence with the Grafana with one of the backend, then we'll start looking up on those custom or ad hoc requirements. We'll start looking up on at least to see and understand that how that functions.
will it be possible? I mean, will it be
Mhm.
possible later on as well if need any support? Because um, that's what actually I was looking for. I have gone through the syllabus, but there are actually two syllabuses on the Training Institute pages. One is this one, and there is another one actually. If I go from the main page, right? I mean, there is, uh,
Okay.
and I mean that actually would give more information for what actually my organization uses. So let's see. I mean,
This
yeah,
one.
yeah. So InfluxDB is there, and
I mean, why it's not, we can't have multiple data sources integrated with the session. So let's understand that, okay? We're gonna like come to that point where we'll get to know that why it's really difficult to have multiple data sources during the session, okay? Uh, that we're gonna like definitely discuss that why it's a little difficult to incorporate multiple data sources as a backend for Grafana.
so
Okay. Mhm.
will it be possible? to expect some support from you if we are unable to cover some of the topics that I am looking for, um, based on your availability whenever it is possible. Will that be a possible thing to expect? Because
Yeah, I mean,
I
subject to availability, definitely. You
sure,
can ping, and if I'll be available, I'll gonna provide you relevant information
that would be great.
and
Thank
try
you.
to give you that extent, like whatever it will be possible. Again, it will be subject to availability.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, let's come back to that how Prometheus function. So I don't want to reiterate it. I believe most of us were available during our demo session, yesterday's session, or what
I
this
I
was.
was not available.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So how Prometheus function? Let's have a quick, take away that how Prometheus function and how it acts as a backend for Grafana. So how Prometheus function? Prometheus has a component called discovery engine, we can say. Okay. What it does, it actually pick up or scraps metrics from the source system. And from source system, how it get to know that what needs to be scrapped. So for that, there is a config called Prometheus.yaml. I mean, name can be different, but that's the config which being configured while creating or deploying your Prometheus. Okay, so that's where we define targets, and inside that target, we generally mention the source IP, DNS name, or host name, whatever is available. So that we mention with the port from where it need to scrap the metrics or desired information. And on that particular source, there is a specialized utility which is referred as Prometheus agent that being configured as a service, or that being deployed as that can be deployed as even a Dockerized container. So what it does, it scraps out the desired metrics or the utility for which it been designed. For example, you'll see a node exporter. So that's one of the, when I say like exporter, it's nothing but a software and it's a agent. Okay, many of us must be heard that term agent, uh, which helps to gather data from a source and send it to your monitoring backend. Okay, so your monitoring backend is Prometheus, and exporters are working as an agent which scraps the information what those are specialized for. For example, node exporter, this is specialized for infra level metrics. Okay, and once it scraps those information, it exposes them on a particular port, and that being actually further pulled by your Prometheus service discovery engine as per the target defined. And this is how it works. There are like multiple exporters available for different purpose. So node exporter, as we know now, it's for infra level metrics, and we have JMX exporter, which being utilized for your application level metrics from a Java application, even for messaging system like Kafka. It does help to export certain metrics, and SQL exporters available, even MariaDB exporters. So there is a number of exporters available for different purpose. Okay, those all have uh, different purpose, and it's being designed by Prometheus. They're like custom exporters also available, and it can be developed as per the custom requirement or ad hoc requirement by the organization. So, and then this Prometheus will be integrated with Grafana as a source or as a data source. And this is how your metrics whatever being scrapped and is stored inside the time series database of Prometheus will be accessible through Grafana. Okay, so I'm expecting one question here from everyone. So is it like the same database server being utilized by Grafana also when we'll be working on Grafana, or there'll be a separate database? Any input? Uh,
And it used the database as Kubernetes, correct? Grafana.
your voice is very feeble. I'm not sure it's same for others. Shiva,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, sorry, I was talking with Bluetooth. Database itself Prometheus, correct? For Grafana. I mean, here we are using Prometheus.
yeah, Prometheus is acting as a backend for Grafana or source for Grafana from where it is picking up the desired metrics. Okay, so that is something which these metrics being picked by Grafana is coming from a Prometheus time series database. Okay, now when we walk over Grafana, it does have to store even user information or user data. So for that, even Grafana has a database. Okay, again, there is native database as well as we can customize this database. Okay, subject to like scalability and whatever what like how large organizational infrastructure is which is being monitored through Grafana, and what are all metrics, volume of metrics getting stored, and which needs to be like reflected on Grafana. So on basis of that, the backend database of Grafana can be further customized. So we earlier talked that when it comes to Prometheus, okay, Prometheus in itself is a time series database monitoring solution. So it's a complete solution, not like Grafana, which is a visualization layer. So if it's a complete solution, then why we are not utilizing this? It's because of its the UI layer. Okay, it does offer a very a kind of like monotonous and minimal option of visual representation of any metric. So we can see it offers a graph and linear representation. So only two options are available, which are more or less absolute similar, and it doesn't provide a more user-friendly kind of like data insight. Okay, I'll not spend more time on it. Let's get started with some demonstration. So this is how it appears here, and same thing if you'll observe on Grafana, it appears like this. So we can simply see the difference and why generally we prefer to have Grafana as one of the visualization layer, because it does offer like very enriched visualization, and it offers multiple uh, different kind of like visualization. It could be gauge, it could be uh, graph, time series table, okay, a multiple visualization. And same can be extended using plugins, which we'll gonna like cover uh, when we progress with our program in our upcoming days. So now let's get started with Grafana. We'll do Grafana installation, and before that, uh, I'd request everyone, okay, to have one AWS free tier account available with them, so that demonstration looks um, useful, and they can even practice post session. Okay, so how many of you have already created a free tier account, or they already have a free tier AWS account? I mean, here I need input. That is mandatory.
Yeah, I already use AWS free tier account. So uh, can I use my local machine because I have a Docker desktop in my local machine?
Okay, yeah, you can use, but again, when you'll deal with uh, a Dockerized container, uh, playing around with the backend would be slightly time taking. So for that, we'll be implementing Grafana as a service for all our backend understanding. So for that, we might need a service-based implementation of Grafana. So you can use, definitely you can use uh, on your local machine. If AWS would be there, it will be more, I think, useful. But fine, if one is preferring to have their own local machine to be utilized for all these labs, it's pretty fine. Uh, who else? So I have noted it for Siva. Siva will be preferring to have a local um, Bevo Narvula. And from next session, I'd request if we can have at least like our initials correctly updated, because calling out would be slightly challenging with the shorter names. Or okay, so this is what will be required um, for labs. Okay, so let's quickly do the demonstration of Dockerized installation so that we can go on to the UI part. Okay, so this is AWS Management Console, and from there I'm opting for EC2 service. We'll start like fresh, so that okay. And here we need to select instances, and here we need to opt for launch instances. Launch instances, and then put here Grafana. That's the name of that particular instance which we are trying to run. Instance is nothing but a server. Okay, so in terms of AWS nomenclature, it generally refers as instance. Like server is named as instance. In Azure, it's named as like virtual machine, and in GCP there is different term, but all are same, like server. So we'll be going with the Amazon Linux. Okay, so this is the image what we're gonna like have AMI, Amazon manage machine image, and we're gonna like uh, keep a note, like everyone needs to keep a note that they need to utilize free tier only. Okay, so we'll take this 64-bit, and here we can choose instance type. So my T2 micro is the one which we can go forward currently. So you can see that it's eligible for free tier. So if anyone having free tier account, they can take advantage of this. It will be available free of cost. Currently, I'm not using free tier, so it does have like mention the cost, corresponding cost. So even if you'll choose, free tier, and you don't have like free tier account, it does come up with like certain cost. Okay, so we'll gonna like have a key pair. This key pair will enable to log in onto the backend of the system. So we'll name it Grafana OSS, and we'll have our PEM file. The next, we need to see this auto assign public IP. Okay, remaining everything need not to like touch for now. 8 GB as a storage or root volume we can say is sufficient, so we'll keep it default. And once all done, we'll go and launch this instance. I hope everyone is like following along. A quick confirmation, a quick input.
Yeah.
Great, thanks Siva. Okay, so we can see that it's in initializing phase. In the meantime, if anyone have any question, feel free to ask. And make sure, once again, I'm reiterating, make sure you are utilizing free tier, because even if we'll keep these instances in a like like stop mode, and they'll still gonna like utilize some sort of like cost. They will gonna like incur some sort of like cost because there is associated EBS volume, and those are like premium SSDs which come with like certain cost per hour. So if you'll see this, since it's not free tier, so it's all like coming on certain cost. So make sure you are utilizing it wisely, if preferring to even go with like a non-free tier account. It's highly recommended to go with the free tier account. Sorry. Okay, so our instance is ready now to be utilized. So we'll not gonna like use any third-party utility for now. Let's utilize the console option to log in directly. Okay, so we'll use connect, and this is one of the default user which generally being created. So we'll use the same to connect with our server backend, our terminal. Okay, so now we are with terminal. Let's switch to root, and so first thing, if we have to like create a container of Docker, container of Grafana, what we need? A Docker to be installed. So we'll install Docker. For that, you're gonna like use yum install Docker. I'll give you prompt, say yes. Okay. Now we'll start the Docker daemon service so that we can run our containers. Some CTL utility command we're gonna like use for the same. Yeah, good. Check the service. If it is good and running, Okay, so we can see our daemon has inactive states, running state. Now we can launch our container. So what we'll do, we'll use docker command for the same. Docker run. Okay, I'll explain this command, that what it does. Just a second. And we're gonna like see how many of us like are aware about Docker.
Yeah, I'm aware about that.
Okay, so it will be more simpler for you to understand. For rest, we are using Docker to run a container, and using these option -d, it's a detach mode. uh, we need not to like get into that depth, but to understand, it helps to provide you the required running terminal, and -p will help you to expose its port, or port forwarding, what we generally refer in more technical term. So we are binding the host 3000 port. The Grafana default UI port is available on 3000 port. Okay, we can change it. We can customize it through the backend grafana.ini file, and we'll kind of like look on that too, that customization. So what name we'll give to this container? We'll make it Grafana, and then let's
Imagine.
yeah, what we want to have from Docker. So we'll use official Grafana, and then let's use Grafana Enterprise. For any other so from where it is gonna like pick our hub. So we'll see this. This will pull from this Grafana official repo. Okay, so this is official Grafana is official repo, where we'll gonna like have a legit container or image or legit image, which can be pulled as per the need. But again, if we have to pull it from here, we need to have a login. Okay, if we'll try to pull in without login, it will not permit. Okay, for example, let's take any one of them. So let's go, since we discussed for the 9, let's take some 9 version, 9.0. We'll go with the 9.0.5. Okay, let's go with 9.2.5. So if you'll try to use this, we'll kind of like it'll give error. Why? Because it will demand a login. Okay, without login, it will not be accessible. What we can do, we can get a freeware, that is Grafana Enterprise. When we say like Enterprise, it's actually open source packed with the name Enterprise. Okay, it does allow. Okay, now it does allow. Maybe they have like put certain changes. So what it does, this simple action, it's created a container with the name Grafana, and what that container has Grafana service running underneath it. Okay, so how to access this? Since we have already did the port binding, it will be accessible. And how we can access? So we can see here, we can go back to this instance, and there is a public IP associated with the same. Okay, just take this, come back to your browser and use HTTP, because we haven't used any certificate as of now. Put your public IP colon 3000. That's the default port of Grafana UI. So it's taking time. Okay, it might not even open up. Any input or what preventing it to not show the UI?
Maybe you need to open the security group in
Yeah,
AWS.
yeah. So what preventing it? That there is a firewall which we need to configure. So how we can do that? Here underneath this security tab, we'll be having a security group. So security group is nothing but your egress and ingress rules definition or firewall for this particular instance. So let's see what are all configuration available. So we can see that inbound traffic. So whatever we are requesting here, it's inbound traffic. So we are trying to hit this server over port 3000. And currently, if you'll see, this server is only allowed to have SSH over port 20, not more than that. So because of which we are not able to get the service running, over port 3000. So I can see one hand raise. Yes, Naravula, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Please feel free to unmute and ask your question. I'm not sure if you are talking because we can't hear you. I can see you are unmute. Uh, we still can't hear you. Okay, no, you are not. Okay, by the time he joins in, anyone has any other question? Okay, great. If you are speaking, are you talking, Naravula?
Yeah, so yeah, is it audible
Okay,
now? I mean,
yeah, now you're
yeah.
audible.
So, I mean,
Uh,
my question is like, I mean, why? Yeah. My question is like, why we are using Docker service? I mean, will it act as an agent or like what?
No, Docker is, it provide you capability to um, run containers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that's one of the like advanced concept post virtualization being introduced. Uh, container container technique. So, are you aware about like container?
No, I'm not aware actually. So that's why I'm asking, like, why
Okay,
I mean we reach Docker and all. Yeah.
okay. So think of like container is, a container is a light like OS. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
uh, added with whatever which required. Only those services will be there within that OS. Okay, not more than that. So, for example, if you install your Windows operating system, okay, what do you observe? That you see there are like multiple services running under it. Okay, you
Right.
generally
Right.
find like there are like n number of services, there are like n number of processes which are executing. Those are not required, and they are utilizing your uh, host or your local machine hardware. Okay, and those are
Mm-hmm.
like
Right.
absolutely not required. You don't need them. You just need, like, for example, you just need MS Office and that service to be up, nothing more than that. So in that situation, you see that for that also you have to, bear the overload of those all additional processes, services which are unnecessarily killing the performance of your system. So for that purpose, these containers, like I'm just trying to explain you
Yeah.
onto very, layman. There is like broader explanation of containers, and so what it does, it provide you a customized form of your OS. Okay, that whatever you need, let's configure the one, and which are absolute mandatory, we're gonna like have that only, nothing more than that, no other
Okay.
service. Okay, so similarly, how to create such container?
Okay. So yeah. Yeah. So let's suppose. Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's suppose, I mean, like in a future, okay, if I want to capture the response times, maybe I mean, like logs from the application, like application layer. So to install this Docker service there, all right, I can simply install any agent there, and I can simply extract those logs.
Okay, so we'll gonna like discuss all these for sure. You need not to be worried that how it will gonna like function when we'll be implementing it in production environment. Okay, whether it
Yeah.
will be
So yeah,
Dockerized
why I'm asking this
implementation.
is,
Hmm.
yeah, why I'm
Go ahead.
asking this, I have done like a kind of small POC using Influx DB and POC. Sorry,
Hmm.
Grafana.
Okay,
So, I mean, Telegraph as a working as a agent, I'm storing all the DB, I mean, data into the DB, and I'm calling in the Grafana tool using same whatever the port you are saying using localhost. And
yeah.
so that's why I got a doubt. Like, I mean, are we using this Docker as a, I mean, agent or like, I mean, normal thing? So, yeah.
No, 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 no. This is a different concept.
No.
You can treat
Yeah.
as like one of the way to deploy your Grafana. Okay, so we're gonna like get
Mm-hmm.
into depth of understanding Grafana implementation, and this is one of the
Sure.
technique to deploy, and this is one of the quickest technique actually. Okay, you want your Grafana service
Okay.
to be up immediately, so this is the quickest way. Just have a predefined container available, just pull that and execute it and expose it port, and you are done. So that what
Got it.
we are
Got it.
looking as of now. Okay.
Got it. Got it. Thanks.
Okay, so let's make the changes. So what we need a rule that should allow your port 3000 communication. Okay, we want everyone to be like accessing this. So I'll make it, I'll name it Grafana UI, save. So now we have allowed 3000 port communication. As soon as we'll allow, it's very quick. Okay, we can see that our Grafana service is up and running. Default password for Grafana is admin. We're gonna like change it. We'll make it admin123 and then admin123, and it is accessible across. Anyone can log in. Okay, if even you all want to use, you can simply use this in your browser to log in. So this is Grafana. Okay, and this is what we're gonna like utilize in our uh, upcoming session. So let's quickly understand the UI and then we'll wrap up. If there'll be any additional question, we'll take that up and then we'll wrap up for the day. So this is home page from where, like if we are somewhere and we want to get onto this page, this is home page, what we can see with the name home. And this is the option where if we have to like search, if there are like any existing dashboard available, we can use this search tab. It will show the existing dashboards created by anyone. Then there is an option called dashboard, which will give us different option to create dashboard, import dashboard, create new folder or workspace. These all will kind of like understand in depth what these playlists, what snapshots are, what library panels are. We'll kind of like understand all this because this is what we are here for. And same for alert rules. Okay, so this is the UI, and we'll kind of like cover each and everything in depth. Okay, each and everything. Even if there'll be this option, what this means, how it will be useful, what we'll do with this setting tab. Okay, what are all different options we do have here, what these are, what this gear icon is for, what this cycle view mode of option. All these will gonna like look back into. Okay, the most important thing would be your data sources. So we can use from that home tab if we haven't customized, or we can use this option, the gear icon onto the left menus, to add a data source. Okay, so this is where I'll take a pause and see if we have any question.
Sumit Vaibhav here.
Yeah, hi Pepo, tell me.
So I do not have much idea about Docker. So do I need
Hmm.
to have that idea before we start this journey, or would you recommend
No,
me
no,
to
you are good.
undergo some
No, you are good.
courses?
No, you are good. You are good. So for this Grafana program, we don't need, and at extent wherever we need, I think we'll gonna like look into those information for sure. So
Oh,
you are good.
oh,
And as I mentioned, like we'll gonna like have a post our training session. These all will be absolute understood by each one of us. Okay, that what how we can play around this Grafana. Not this the UI, but even onto the backend side, that how we can control this functionality through the backend. Okay, we are ahead of like our time. Uh, I'll go one more time. Okay, Siva is unmute. You have any question?
Yeah, so Sumit, if we want to integrate this Grafana with Active Directory, you know,
Hmm.
uh, so is the possibility is there?
Yeah, we can. So basically, that is LDAP, what you are looking forward to, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that again falls onto its backend side. So we'll gonna like look onto those configurations since we'll be not be having any Active Directory based service, neither any LDAP configuration. So I'll explain those all. when we'll be getting to understand the backend of Grafana. Okay, so we'll be looking into those all configuration, that where we can do the changes
Okay.
for configuring the LDAP.
And Sumit, I have one final question.
Hmm.
You said this node exporter which gather infra metrics from the server.
Yeah.
So I just want to know about this Kubernetes as well. So if I install this node exporter on the one of the node
Hmm.
where pods are running, so
Hmm.
is there any way I can get metrics of the pods as well? Inside the pod container is running, right?
Correct.
So is there any way can we get the metrics of the pods and containers in that particular node? Is that possible with Grafana?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, Grafana is providing you visualization. So the
Yeah,
question
yeah,
would be that
Prometheus,
is
sorry.
it like yeah, yeah. So it's possible.
Okay.
You can get even broader level of this. Prometheus Grafana is one of the most adapted solution when it comes to Kubernetes world.
Yeah. I mean, I have one more generic question, Sumit. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a very generic thing, but out of my curiosity, I'm asking. So you
Okay.
mentioned time series data. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It supports only the data. I mean, the log which have a proper time series. Correct?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay. So, I mean, I just want to make a one general case. So, suppose in
Mm-hmm.
my security field, I usually get basic alerts, security alerts, something like that. So, if
Mm-hmm.
I want to visualize those things in Grafana, I need to make sure my data is with proper time format. Is that correct,
Yeah,
Sumit? I
that
mean,
is,
is that
yeah.
possible?
I mean, if we have a backend as time series based database system, right? Then definitely you need to make sure that you are aligning according to it. Okay. Otherwise, it will
Yeah.
be not you can say readable, or might it will even give you some sort of like problem while synthesizing or storing it. Okay. So it's something which you need to handle or the user needs to handle. Other than that, when it comes to security, okay, those are like even they're like certain chances, not certain, at extent you'll see like unstructured data.
Yeah.
So that what generally being ingested as logs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so for logs again, you can use different techniques to onboard, and through that you will be good.
Okay. Okay.
So we are running ahead of time. Just I'm taking last confirmation. Yeah. So we are good here to conclude for day one. We'll start deep diving with one of the concept, onto the Grafana end from tomorrow onwards. Okay, and where it is, yeah. So we'll be, and as I mentioned, when we'll be, looking on to our actual production-based implementation, it will be a service-based implementation. Okay, not Dockerized. Okay, so I think we are good here. See you guys tomorrow, same time.
Thank you so
Good
much.
evening, good
Thanks,
morning.
Sumit.
Okay, bye everyone.
Okay, thanks.